Episode 80. I'm Billy. That's Tim. This is All the Everything Podcast.
Well, we'd like to officially welcome you to our summer short series. We know people get busy during these months coming up and travel and things like that. And you don't have a lot of time to listen to the podcast like you did when you were alone in the car or alone at home. So we're going to be bringing you 30-minute episodes-ish, maybe get a little bit over. We're giving ourselves leeway with that. But it's easier for you to consume, so you can get in, listen to our podcast while you're doing something, and be done with it, and still enjoy the things that we're going to bring to you for the rest of the summer. So officially welcome to the summer short series. Well, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Are you ready, my friend?
You better believe it. Let's get into all the everything, y'all.
All the everything. 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 Podcast! Welcome to the madness.
Well, welcome back to yet another amazing episode of All the Everything Podcast. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Tim Sawhook, and I'm joined by my man who is looking pretty fly. With his beard looks trimmed up. He's got the nice hat on. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Parchman. Billy, how are you doing today, buddy?
Man, I'm good. I'm just getting ready because, Alaska's on the horizon. So, I had to get my hair did. Had to get everything rocking and rolling, ready for the things. Yeah. So, that's coming up soon. So, yeah.
How are you, man? Good. I'm doing
Thank you.
good. I'm doing good, but not as sharp as you are. But listen, we explained in the beginning, we got to keep these to 30-ish minutes. So we better get right into it. Billy, what are we talking about today?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a spooky one for you. So we're calling this episode Nope. Nope.
Ain't happening.
Ain't gonna do it. Ain't happening. Yep. Ain't gonna do it. So this is gonna be a little spookier. I don't know about Tim's, but mine, kids could listen. They might freak them out a little bit. You might have somebody come down.
It's a little freaky,
morning, but not nothing.
Nothing compared to any of the other ones we've done in the past about scary stories and stuff. Those are definitely more intense. So without further delay, Billy, do you want to kick us off?
Let's rock and roll. Tyler called me at 2:13 a.m. Now, nobody good calls at 2:13 a.m. in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the, hey, man, just checking in time. It's either somebody's in jail, somebody's crying, or somebody had to make a decision that is now somehow your problem, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it was Tyler. Every friend group has a Tyler, a guy who hears abandoned places in the woods and thinks, hey, that sounds fun. And I answered half asleep and immediately heard whispering, not talking, whispering, fast, panicked. Billy, I need you to come get me. Now, this isn't me. This is a Billy in the story, not me.
Not him. It's him, but not him.
Exactly. No details, no explanation, just a sentence that immediately ruins my night. I sat up. Where are you? Old Mill Road. Nope. Already hate it. Already hate it. Every town has the one road people always talk about. Not because of anything officially ever happening there, but just enough weird stories that nobody wants to go there after dark. Cars breaking down, people hearing things in the woods, that kind of road. And I ask, why are you whispering? And Tyler goes, because I think somebody's outside my truck. Oh fantastic. Yeah. Now we're adding mystery people. I rub my eyes. It's like, what happened? Then he says, so me and Derek went out to check out this abandoned church. Okay, y'all say it with me now, right? Nope. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Nope. There are certain combinations of words that should automatically just end conversations. Abandoned, church, middle of the night. Nothing good follows that setup, right? So apparently they had been driving around after getting food when Derek brought up some abandoned church that people online had always talked about. Supposedly it had been empty since the 70s. People claim they've heard bells ringing at night, saw lights inside, heard singing in the woods. And instead of saying, well, that sounds dangerous, they drove there. Tyler said when they finally found the place, it immediately felt wrong. Not haunted exactly, just off. The church sat way back in the woods. No nearby houses, no lights except one dim glow inside the building. And the weirdest part, no sounds, no bugs, no wind, nothing. That's nature warning you. Animals know things. And if every living creature in the forest collectively decides we're staying quiet for this one, you should leave. But Derek apparently watches too many ghost hunting shows because he says, bro, let's just go take a quick look inside. Real quick, right? Has ruined so many lives.
Yeah.
So they walk up to the church, but when they got to the front door, they heard piano music, soft, slow piano music inside an abandoned church at almost 2 a.m. Say it with me, y'all.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, no. And the front door was cracked open slightly. And Derek, because survival means nothing to him, pushes it open further. The church was almost dark. Old pews, dust everywhere, broken stained glass. But at the very front, there was one chair sitting near the altar, and somebody was sitting in it, motionless. Tyler said both of them froze immediately because the person wasn't moving at all, not shifting, not breathing, nothing. And then slowly the chair started rocking back and forth. Say it with me, y'all. Nope. I'm done. That's enough. That's enough for me. I'm done for the night. And Tyler whispers, let's go. And for once, Derek agreed. So they turn around to leave. And right when they reached the doors, the piano stopped. Dead silence. Then a voice behind them said, "You boys lost?" And Tyler said it sounded calm, almost too calm. They turned back around. The person from the chair was now standing, tall, wearing dark clothes. And Tyler said the creepiest part wasn't what the guy said. It was how he smiled the entire time.
Oh, man.
Not a friendly smile, just staring. Then the guy says, people don't usually come here this late. Derek tried laughing it off. No, man, we're just leaving. And the guy goes, most people do. All right, y'all. Nope. Then the church bell rang. One loud bell. And Tyler said the guy didn't even react at all. Didn't blink. Didn't even turn his head. That's when they finally ran. Finally, right?
Finally, dear God.
Yep. They sprinted through the woods back towards the truck, branches hitting them, phones falling, full panic mode. And the whole time, Tyler said that he could hear footsteps behind them. Not running, walking slow, which somehow is just worse.
Yes.
Because if somebody calmly walks after you while you're sprinting, they know something that you don't.
Right.
They finally reached the truck, locked the door, and started breathing again. And that's when Derek noticed something. There was fresh mud smeared across the passenger side window. Not handprints, nothing dramatic, just a muddy streak, like somebody had dragged their fingers across the glass while they were walking.
Oh, my God.
And mixed in with the mud were tiny leaves and pine needles, like whoever touched the truck had just stopped straight out of the woods. Then the church bell rang again. And Tyler said to Derek, let's go. And Tyler didn't argue. He threw the truck into reverse and they took off down the road. And honestly, that should have been the end of the story. But about 5 minutes later, Derek goes, my phone. And
Oh,
Tyler says,
no.
what about it? I dropped it back at the church.
Hell no. I'm adding a hell no
Nope,
to that one.
nope, nope, nope,
Nope.
nope. If you lose your phone in a creepy abandoned church at 2 a.m., that's the devil's phone now. You go get a new phone tomorrow. That is not okay. That's what you do. You go get a new phone tomorrow. But Derek insisted that they go back. And Tyler argued for a solid minute before finally turning around. And the second they pulled up near the woods, Derek jumped out of the truck before it even stopped, ran towards the church with his flashlight. Tyler stayed in the driver's seat waiting. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. No Derek. That's when Tyler called me. And while he was explaining this to me on the phone, he suddenly stops talking mid-sentence. And I said, Tyler, there's nothing. Then he quietly whispers, somebody just walked behind the truck.
Oh.
Nope.
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 Nope. That's an instant no. That's a yes. That is a no. I'm already putting in my shoes because apparently I make bad choices too. The whole drive felt wrong. No other cars, fog rolling down the road, no radio because music would have just made the whole situation even more scary.
Yeah.
And then finally I turned into Old Mill Road and I saw Tyler's truck, lights on, engine running, and I pull up beside him. And the second I got in, he locked the door again, hands shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, where's Derek? And he just stared forward. Then I noticed something. The church bell was ringing again, slow. And then way out in the near tree line, I could see someone standing there, tall, still, watching the truck. And I said, is that Derek? And Tyler whispered, no. And then right then, the figure moved closer. That's the guy that was inside the church. Nope. I said, start driving. Let's go. He puts the truck in gear. He revs the motor. The truck will not move.
Oh my gosh.
He hits the gas again. Nothing. The tires are stuck in mud, just spinning. And then the church bells stop ringing. Dead silence. No wind, no bugs, nothing. The figure stops about 20 feet in front of the truck. It's still too dark to see his face clearly, but I can tell it is smiling. And from somewhere deep inside the woods, we heard Derek scream. Not a horror scream, a real scream, the kind of scream that hits your chest. And before either of us could even react, the figure near the truck whispers, don't worry, he's still alive.
What? Nope.
The end.
What? Billy, that was excellent. Good storytelling too. God, I was like, I couldn't. It's like those things you just can't breathe. You're like tighten up. Like, what happened? Derek?
What? Oh, Derek. Oh my gosh. Tyler, don't call me again. We done. We done.
What happened to his other buddy's truck?
Well, I guess Billy's, yeah, they could have gotten there, but I guess they didn't want to get out of the car.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them.
Yep.
It's like I could hear the audience yelling nope along with you.
Nope. Oh my gosh.
That's how we made you part of the show today, guys. So thank you for joining in. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. But what do you have for us today?
Well, Jake traveled constantly for work, which meant he'd stayed in every type of hotel you can imagine. Luxury hotels with cucumber water in the lobby, budget motels where the vending machine looked like something older than the Constitution, business hotels with carpets designed specifically to hide stains and sadness.
Oh, gosh.
Nothing can surprise him anymore. We all know that kind of carpet, right? We can all picture that carpet. But nothing surprised him anymore, right? Tiny towels, crappy coffee, air conditioners that sounded like helicopters trying to land. Normal hotel stuff, right? Honestly, Jake had developed a weird talent for immediately judging a hotel within 30 seconds of walking inside. That's a skill.
Yeah.
So, if the lobby smelled vaguely like chlorine and despair, bad sign. If the elevator made noises that sounded legally actionable, even worse. So when his company, I know. So when his company sent him to Pennsylvania for a regional sales conference, do you think he worked with Dunder Mifflin?
He might have pushing
Okay,
paper.
all right. So for a regional sales conference, he wasn't expecting anything unusual. The hotel had looked charming online. Let me repeat that. It looked charming online.
Right.
Uh, Historic, elegant, rich in local history, which means it's very old. But the photos look nice enough. Brick exterior, grand staircase, vintage chandeliers, the kind of place where you imagine drinking whiskey while solving murders in the 1940s. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Jake arrived around 8 p.m. after a 4-hour drive through pouring rain and construction zones that may have actually been designed by the devil.
Oh.
We all know those. Like
Yep.
Billy's, I didn't get to say your classic line is that phone belongs to the devil now. That was amazing, by the way. That made me laugh so hard. That phone belongs to the devil now.
Yep.
Oh God. All right. Sorry. I jumped stories. Anyhow, by the time he pulled into the parking lot, he was exhausted, and the hotel immediately felt off. Not dangerous, not weird, just the building itself towered over the empty parking lot like it had secrets. One flickering light buzzed above the entrance. Rain hit the windows in uneven waves, and for some reason, there was absolutely no other cars parked nearby.
Oh.
Yeah, don't like that. Which it didn't make any sense because the hotel website claimed that they were fully booked. Jake grabbed his suitcase, walked inside. The lobby was beautiful and deeply unsettling. Everything was silent. Not peaceful, silent. The chandelier overhead creaked slightly. The old grandfather clock ticked loudly near the staircase, and somewhere in the distance, Jake could hear piano music. Very faint, like someone was casually playing 3 rooms away, except the lobby was empty. No guests, no bartender, nobody. Then suddenly, checking in, Jake nearly jumped out of his skin. An older woman stood behind the front desk. He had absolutely not seen her there before when he walked in. She wore a gray sweater, small glasses, low on her nose. Her expression was never changed. It was not rude, but was also not friendly. Just, he says, just emotionally unavailable. So Jake laughed awkwardly and said, "You scared the hell out of me." Nothing. No reaction at all. She slowly typed something into the computer with one finger, like she deeply resented technology. And she said, "Name?" And he said, "Jake Morrison." More typing, click, click, click. The woman handed him a key card for room 417. Jake nodded, and then the woman casually added, "Don't be alarmed if you hear footsteps tonight." And Jake turned around and blinked and said, "What?" The woman just adjusted her glasses. "Well, the building settles at night." Oh, gotcha. So the woman did not laugh. Not even a little. Just turned around and went back to sitting by the computer. Jake grabbed his bag, headed toward the elevator while internally deciding this place was either haunted or run entirely by serial killers. The kind of feel you want to have when you get to a hotel, right?
Right.
So the elevator ride to the 4th floor felt like it took 12 years. The old elevator groaned at every floor. It was emotionally exhausted. And when the doors finally opened, Jake stepped into what could only be described as the longest hallway in human history. Seriously, the hallway had no business existing. It looked less like a hotel corridor and more like the entrance to a psychological experiment.
Oh.
Reminds me of The Shining, right? That long
Yeah, that's
hallway.
what the vibes I was getting. Yeah.
Yeah. So there were dim yellow lights glowed overhead. The carpet swallowed sound completely. Not normal paintings, the kind of paintings where everyone sees eyes that follow you the whole time. No fruit bowls, no landscapes, just one portrait of a man who looked furious behind the painting. Jake slowly rolled his suitcase down the hallway. The wheel sounded way too loud because it was dead silent in that hallway. Halfway down, he realized something horrifying. The hallway somehow felt longer and further the longer he walked. Finally, he reached his room, though. The last room at the very end of the corridor. Of course it was, Jake said. Jake unlocked the door. By the way, I feel like every time I get a hotel room now, I'm always the furthest away from the elevator. It's just like it's a curse. Anyhow, all right. So I didn't. I should have taken some Adderall today. Here we go. So he finally reached his room. It was the end of the hallway. Of course it was. Jake unlocked the door, stepped inside, and immediately relaxed a little. The room itself wasn't bad. Old fashioned for sure, but clean. Large bed, wood furniture, a tiny TV mounted awkwardly in the corner. He tossed his bag down and instantly called his best friend Matt. Matt answered immediately. How's Pennsylvania? Jake flopped onto the bed. This place is absolutely haunted. Matt, his friend, laughed loudly. You say that about every old building you visit because you travel so much. And he said, no, seriously, Jake whispered. The front desk lady literally warned me about footsteps in the night. There was a pause. Okay, actually, that's kind of weird. Jake sat up. In the hallway, dude, it's like The Shining up in here. Matt laughed harder. And he said, if twin girls show up, just leave.
Yep.
Already planning on it, he said. So Jake spent the next hour answering emails, watching bad cable television, while trying not to think about the paintings in the hallway that kept continuing to look at him with every step. Around 11:30, he finally turned the lights off. Rain tapped softly against the windows. The old building creaked occasionally. Normal old building sounds. Jake slowly drifted off to sleep. Then at exactly 2:13 a.m., he awoke. At first, he didn't know why. Everything was pitch black, dead silent in his room. Then he heard it. Footsteps outside his room. Slow footsteps. Heavy. Not pacing, walking very deliberately. Thump, thump, thump. Jake opened one eye in the bed. The footsteps continued down the hallway. Thump, thump, thump. Then suddenly, they stopped directly outside his door.
Nope.
Dead silence. Jake held his breath. Nothing happened for several seconds. Then, knock, knock, knock on the door. 3 soft knocks. Not aggressive, not loud. Somehow that made it worse. Jake froze completely. Now, nobody ever says this out loud during scary situations, but his actual first thought was, nope.
Yep. Nope. Mm-mm.
Say it with me, everybody. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Absolutely not. He stared at the door for nearly a full minute. Maybe it was another guest. Maybe somebody got drunk, couldn't find the room.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Satan himself was outside doing customer service rounds in this hallway.
Right?
Who knew? Eventually, Jake convinced himself he was being ridiculous. He slowly climbed out of the bed, walked toward the door. Every horror movie decision humans make suddenly makes sense to him because curiosity is apparently stronger than survival instinct. Jake leaned forward, looked through the people. Nobody there. The hallway was empty at first. Then he noticed something. At the far end of the hallway, a woman stood completely still, just standing there, motionless, facing directly toward his room. Jake couldn't make out her face clearly in the dim light, but he could see enough. Gray sweater, small frame, the front desk woman, just like he saw originally, standing perfectly still at 2:13 in the morning at the opposite end of the hallway. Jake physically recoiled from the peephole like it had punched him. Nope, absolutely not, he said. He backed away slowly. Every survival instinct in his body screamed, do not open that door.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. Jake climbed back into bed, pulled the blanket up to his chin, because apparently adulthood disappears instantly when something creepy happens.
Right.
Takes you back to being a kid again, right?
Yep.
Then he heard the footsteps again. Except this time, they weren't in the hallway. They were above him.
Oh.
Thump, thump, thump. Jake sat bolt upright in his bed. He was now hearing slow, deliberate footsteps cross directly over the ceiling above him, like someone was walking above his room. There was just one problem with that. Jake was on the top floor. Now his brain started doing the things brains do during terrifying moments where logic completely abandons ship and it's like, nope, and it leaves also. So then he thought maybe there was attic access. Maybe raccoons had formed a union. But deep down, Jake knew none of these explanations felt right. The footsteps stopped directly above his bed. Dead silence. Then came 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. This time from the ceiling. Jake whispered, say it with me. Nope,
Nope.
nope, nope. He grabbed his phone immediately at 2:45 a.m. He called the front desk. The phone rang once. The same woman answered instantly, almost too instantly. Front desk, she said. Jake sat up even straighter. Hey, somebody's outside my room. Silence. Then the woman calmly replied, do not open the door, no matter what. Jake blinked. He said, what? No explanation, no clarification, just that sentence. The line went dead. Jake stared at the phone in complete disbelief. He's like, hello? Like, seriously? Nothing. The call had been disconnected. Jake did not sleep another second. He turned every light on in the room, sat upright in his bed, watching terrible late night infomercials until sunrise, like they were protecting him spiritually. Every tiny sound made him jump. At one point, the ice machine that the hall activated, Jake nearly left his body. Around
Right.
5 a.m., he heard what sounded like a cart rolling faintly through the hallway. Then whispering. Actual whispering. Too faint to understand. At 6:30, the sun finally started rising. Jake had never been happier to see daylight in his entire life. We've had those days where the nights are terrifying. We're like, please God, just give me daylight. And you feel like you can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment the clock hit 7 a.m., he packed his bag in under 2 minutes and practically sprinted toward the elevator. The hallway somehow looked worse during the daylight. Longer, older, sad somehow. Jake refused to look at the paintings this time because they were looking at him. When he reached the lobby, a younger guy stood behind the front desk drinking coffee. Completely different employee. Jake walked straight up to him. He said, hey, where's the older woman from last night? The guy looked confused. What older woman? The woman who was working the desk last night. The employee frowned. Sir, nobody else works nights. Jake laughed nervously, trying to figure out what was going on. He's like, no, like seriously. The employee stared at him for a long second, then slowly set his coffee down. He said, was she wearing a gray sweater? Jake's stomach dropped instantly. Yeah? The guy sighed heavily. People ask about her sometimes. Jake felt every hair on his body stand up. What does that mean? The employee hesitated, then finally said, well, years ago, there was a night manager here. Older woman, very nice apparently. Jake swallowed hard. Apparently. The employee nodded slowly. She died in the hotel. Jake stared at him. What? The employee leaned closer. Heart attack. Overnight shift, 4th floor. Jake felt physically cold. You know that fear that comes over you where you're just
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
void of any warmth? The weird thing is, guests still describe her sometimes. Jake immediately interrupted. Nope. The employee blinked. Nope, Jake repeated, grabbing his suitcase. I'm done. I don't need the rest of this story. And the employee looked relieved. He said, honestly, that's smart. Jake checked out in approximately 3 minutes. To this day, he refused to stay in historic hotels, especially ones with motivational ghost employees. And every once in a while, usually around 2:13 in the morning, Jake will wake up convinced he hears slow footsteps out the door and thump, thump, thump.
Nope. Mm-hmm. Nope.
Nope.
That's a big nope.
That's a big nope. Oh my god.
I've been like, what if I've already opened the door? Somebody in here? What's going on? I opened the door. I saw her. What's going on?
So in that scenario, would you go open the door, or you just sit there and like, oh god?
Well, I tell you what, I had a situation where somebody knocked on my door like at 2 a.m. at a hotel, and I went and looked up the thing. I was like, what the heck? I'm not opening the door because I don't know who it is.
Right.
Like, I don't know this person. But then I was up for hours because Michelle's mom and the girls were in the room right across from me. So I was making sure they weren't. I would open the door if they would have messed with their door in a heartbeat. But I was in the room by myself, and I was like, yep. But no, I wouldn't open the door unless.
But did you see anybody outside?
I did. I saw some guy knocking on my door, and I'm like, surely he just has the wrong door because I don't need to talk to nobody. But it still freak you out though.
Especially at a
Still, yeah.
hotel, to be disturbed in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. Like, yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. That's
yeah.
creepy.
So like, but of course, I was on high alert. More so because the girls were in the room right across. I could see their
Right.
door, thankfully, though.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Nope.
Well, this was fun. This was a great. I think
Woo.
this was a great episode to kick off our summer short series. I hope
Yep.
everybody enjoyed it. Now, if you want to be part of our secret group chat, so you can talk with other fun-loving people who enjoy the podcast, Billy, how can they do that?
Well, just send us a DM and we'll get you added. Real easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Oh yeah.
And then if you just want to follow the show on all of our socials, we're everywhere. We're on the Facebook, we're on the Instagram, we're on the TikTok, we're on the YouTube. You know, all the Everything podcasts. Look us up, and we're there. So there you go.
You have to try hard to avoid us. We're everywhere.
Right, we're everywhere.
We're even in your house right now. Thump.
Nope.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our first kickoff of the summer short series, and we can't wait to be back with you again next time for yet another amazing episode of All the Everything podcast. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, y'all.